Oh my goodness, I didn't really think it would get this bad. Did you? Are you surprised? Like, I'm surprised that... Okay, should we be surprised? I don't know. Now that I'm saying it out loud, that I am surprised that Jim Benning's press conference today wasn't really a hit with the fans and the media, now that I'm saying it out loud, in my head I'm kind of thinking, okay, what are you expecting? Like, were you expecting him to save face and save the franchise and save the public reputation of everything with one press conference? No. The Vancouver Canucks, yesterday, if you saw our post-game video talking about Colorado, Vancouver, they had themselves a time as the fans were exiting the building. This entire section of the video is kind of going over everything that happened after yesterday's game, where the fans in the stands and the fans in the corridors were chanting out, "Fire Benning! Fire Benning!" And then there was the other chant that they were doing too, "Sell the team," that was directed to Aquilini. So the fans had been starting their own little riot. Okay, not a riot. I should not use that sentence in this kind of context. Yeah, that proverb and saying is probably applicable to other situations, but for Vancouver, it's not really the best one to use. Fans were going out there chanting up a storm about Benning and sell the team, and there were signs for fire Benning at the game. Some of them got confiscated, so that was definitely very displeasing for a lot of other Canucks fans, but Jim Benning had a press conference today, and I wanted to go over some of the quotes. All I'm doing here is showing you some tweets. I haven't seen a full video link actually be available yet. You know, there was the live stream going on the Sportsnet website of the Benning presser, which I'm not too sure if it's still viewable off of that link, but still, that happened, and I tried to go out there and review some of the other footage that was available on Twitter of the press conference. Of course, nothing was full like it was on the live stream, but there are still snippets here and there. Instead, what we're going to be doing on this video is just going over a few quotes as to what Benning's overall thought process is at this time of crisis. So, we'll start off with this. This is what Daniel Wagner said about the biggest takeaway from today's press conference. What I would take away from that conference is ultimately, Jim Benning legitimately has no idea why the Canucks have struggled to start the season. That seems bad. Now, what does he mean by this? Let's go over and read a few more quotes over here. This is what Thomas Strand said at the start of the conference right here. Benning says that we still want to be a playoff team. Okay, well, if you do the math, the Vancouver Canucks need to go, what is it, like 39, 20-something and whatever, for 95 points on the season? Do you really see this team going out there and doing that? I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of don't. So, we'll see if this team is a playoff team. Benning says he wants them to be a playoff team, though, so hopefully that does not mean any panic trades or whatever. Benning also said when it comes to the team and the way that they're struggling, this is wearing on all of us. From ownership, through the management team, to the coaching staff, to the players, we are a fragile team right now. Okay. What a word to describe your hockey team, eh? We're fragile. Ooh, man. I know a lot of you out there, most people out there, probably don't put too much stock into vocabulary choices and whatnot as I do, because as a guy who kind of talks for a living, you know, I speak this language as a full-time job. When you see words and phrases used to describe things that you don't normally see, it stands out at you. And describing your own hockey team as fragile, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that, eh? We're looking at everything, Benning says. I've looked to the outside, talking to other GMs to see what's available, if something like that makes sense, on the subject of what he can do to try to improve this team. So, hopefully, as I said, you know, panic trades, hopefully we don't see any more of those. Hopefully we don't see any more draft picks and whatever get taken away, because the way the Canucks are going in 2022, I mean, it does look like this team is going to be a lottery team at the moment, so hopefully there are no panic trades that involve first-round picks and everything. And speaking about player acquisition, let's talk about one of them right here, Travis Hamonic. This is what he said about Hamonic and the entire situation. Benning says the confusion to open training camp regarding Travis Hamonic was the result of Hamonic deciding to get his first dose back in September, heading to the pharmacy, and being unable to actually go through with it. He says recently that Hamonic received his second shot. Now, That was a weird point, and I know it's something that's not really too detrimental in the scope of the current Canucks landscape, but I thought it was a really strange idea to bring up. In the middle of all this doom and gloom and, oh, the Canucks are bad, we're this, we're that. Oh, Hamonic, by the way, he didn't want to get vaxxed earlier, but now he's vaxxed, so yeah, there you go. It just felt like a weird kind of deterrent, you know? Almost as if this was sort of a mask to divert the conversation away from the really tragic Canucks stuff and onto another topic that has a positive conclusion because Hamonic will now be able to travel with the team to the US. But here's where things get interesting, because we had ourselves the questions. The questions are kind of what made things a lot more funny. In this press conference over here, Farhan Lalji asked Benning if he thinks that 8 years is enough time to execute a rebuild. Oh my goodness. Now, the answer isn't on this tweet. It isn't, but you could kind of just try to envision how Jim Benning probably would have reacted to that kind of question. We have ourselves David Quadrelli, Quads, fellow BCIT guy over here, said, last year you said that you felt you were 2 years away from contending. Do you still feel that way? That you're 1 year away now? Benning says, yeah, I'm not going to comment on that right now with where the team is at. Quads also said, for transparency, I asked if he feels the same, that they're 2 years away from being really competitive, as he put it last year. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not going to answer it. I guess he kind of knows where the team is right now, eh? We also had ourselves another question over here. You guys had some success 15 months ago in the bubble. Is it possible that you guys overvalued or put too much stock into that experience? Benning says, I don't have an answer for that either. And this is kind of what I mean, right? When I said yesterday that the Vancouver media, yeah, this is the Vancouver media. They don't let anybody sleep at night with sweet dreams, it looks like, especially if you're at the helm of the Vancouver Canucks right here. When it comes to the tribulations, though, Benning actually brought up the Abbotsford floods, which a lot of people were kind of upset about, but in the full context of the quote, it definitely makes a lot more sense. He says this, of course I feel responsible for this team. I'm the leader of this group. It's really hard, but with what's going on in BC right now and the people out in Abbotsford and the floods they're dealing with, that's not easy either. So this is what we call life. What he's pretty much saying is that there are people in BC that do have things worse right now, but it's a hard life for everybody. And in no way is he trying to compare his job and say that he is in any way ridiculing or minimizing the amount of struggle that the people in Abbotsford are going through. By the way, thoughts and support go out to everybody in Merritt and Abbey and the rest of BC over here that has been so severely affected by the rains and floods and all that. But still, going back over to Jim Benning over here, I don't think this comment was a bad one. It was just kind of seen in a weird way by most people, so we're good on that. However, there are indeed some other things I wanted to go over here. Jim Benning also did not offer a vote of confidence when asked about Travis Green's job security. He said the coaching staff is working hard, but he noted that the losing is indeed wearing on them. So, I'm not too sure if we're going to have ourselves a Travis Green firing or a Benning firing or whatever, something into the next few days. But just based off of the word we had from other NHL insiders, I believe it was Friedman, or it might have been Dollywall, I'm not too sure who said it, but this homestand, 3 games right here, 2 left. The first one against Colorado, a dud. Then you have 2 more games left in this homestand to really kind of indicate where this team is going to go. This team's got no choice but to start winning if anybody wants to keep their jobs, right? Win 2 in a row, maybe win another one on the road, next up. This is how you keep your job, Travis Green, and for Jim Benning, I mean, we know that he has one of the longest leashes in the entire gosh darn NHL. Like, the guy can do no wrong. The meeting that he had with Aquilini the other day, according to the insider, was not even about deciding what's going to happen in the future with this team. It was talking about, okay, what's wrong? It's not, we're going to condemn you and we're going to fire you because you built this team that sucks. It's okay, why does this team suck? We're going to make this better. We just got to understand what happened first. And according to Benning and the way that he answered these questions in today's press conference, it does not feel like he even knows why they're doing poorly. It's just seen as a matter of fact in the guy's mind. So It's kind of funny, isn't it? That this conference doesn't really do anything for the sentiment of the fan base because everybody just kind of looks at it and says, okay, well, what did we learn? We didn't learn anything. We don't know anything about what this team is going to do. We don't know anything about how this team is going to change. We just know that they suck and they feel bad about it. Are you kidding me? What a way to appease the fans, eh? Kind of funny. Talk to me in the comments what do you think about Benning and the press conference. I hope you enjoyed this particular Rush 99. And bye.